All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of D&D Deep Dive. Guys, I've been recording a lot recently. Let's try this again. Hi, everybody. This is Legend of Three Kingdoms, not D&D Deep Dive. I recorded so many episodes of that show. I'm over. I believe I'm over 200 episodes now, or maybe 300. I don't know. I'd have to look again. But it's a lot, and I say that every single time. And this isn't that. This is a D&D game. These are the people I'm playing with. One of them is an owlbear with a heart. Oh, and I think I've got Argenta and Henri's names in the wrong spot. Hold, please. Now you've seen behind the veil. All right, so, yeah, this is my D&D game. These are my D&D players. They're awesome people that keep putting up with my shit for a reason I haven't figured out yet. I'm certain doctors will study their brains centuries in the future to try and figure out why, but here it is. Yeah, I'm trying to think announcement type stuff. New an official Critical Role campaign book, like actual adventure book, was just announced. I think today or last night, something like that.
Yeah, I think a day or so ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
One of these days, I would love to interview Matt Mercer and just sit him down. So, you went from playing D&D to your campaign setting that you created out of your own brain, now being published alongside the Forgotten Realms and Eberron and Ravenloft. Your campaign setting has the same weight as, Mystara and Greyhawk. Like,
And
how do
just
you feel?
and just watch him freak
Just
out
go,
and melt.
whoa!
Like, I know.
I love making grim. I made the cast of Critical Role cry once. Let me tell you, it was a good experience. During I think it was their 50th episode, I sent them an Extra Life gold medal because we'd raised, I think, $4,000 that year doing the Critters and Team Human. D&D, we played D&D for 48 hours, raised $4,000 for Extra Life in their name for the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles because we were doing it for Critical Role. And so, yeah, I made this video and I contacted Zach, who was running it at the time. I said, hey, can I have this video play for them? And he's like, yeah, sure. And there were some slight technical difficulties, but sure enough, if you watch episode 50, they have the whole Christmas at the end, and they have the section where he goes, the letter, this letter here says, Zach, you know what to do, or something like that, and you see the video come on, and yeah, I sit there and go, yeah, we had people from like 13 different countries representing or it was like 11 different countries, 13 time zones, like 7 different states, all playing D&D for 48 hours. And your little game has literally changed the world. Like, literally, what you guys have done have changed the world. You should be very proud of that. And at the end of it, like, they're all starting to tear up and everything. And Matt Mercer said I was an awesome DM, and they watch my stuff every so often, which was very cool. And then Liam said I was an OG critter. So yeah, it was super cool. So I like making the cast of Critical Role cry out of happiness, not like you guys make them cry now, out of anger and fear. So yeah, that's super cool. This is super happy for Matt and Liam and the entire Critical Role and Marisha and all that stuff. Like it's amazingly awesome. I will be buying it eventually. I'll be reviewing it because that's what I do. Even though for me the adventures are a lot harder to review than the source books. The Dragon source book is coming out end of the month, and I'm currently writing a new subclass for my Dragon Knight. to coincide with the release of it. I'm hoping to get it out in time. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but I have a pretty cool idea for a new Dragon Knights as a subclass. So look forward to that. Otherwise, anything cool happening with you guys? Anyone like landing on the moon or something? Do you hear Shatner went to the outer space?
Went to the edge of space.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I know somebody suggested that when he came back, the crew that opened the capsule should have been dressed as monkeys.
Totally. That would have been great. Or they could have just put 7 cardboard boulders out, and he would go, "Ah, I'm back."
I know what to do. Rip.
It's the same 7 boulders. One of these days, there's an episode. We will get to the game eventually. For those of you watching, I promise. There's an episode of The Big Bang Theory, which is not a good show for nerd representation, but there's an episode of The Big Bang Theory where they were driving past the place where they shot, because it's in California.
Yep.
It's outside of LA. So they were driving past there in cosplay costumes of Star Trek, and so they stopped and they went and they took pictures in the place where they shot all those scenes. And for the Toketsu fandom and the Sentai fans, there is a quarry in Japan where they shot countless fight scenes for Super Sentai, which eventually became Power Rangers. That one day I want to go to that quarry, because everyone from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers up to Super Megaforce, I think, or until they no, even Super Megaforce, because the Japanese footage is still shot in Japan, whereas all the American footage is shot in New Zealand. I one day I want to go to Japan and go to the Power Rangers quarry. Like, that would be super cool. And also, the command center from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is a real building in California. It is an observatory, but
Yes.
you can see it. Like, it's obviously the command center. It is such a unique building, and that would be cool to visit too.
Also used in an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Was it?
Yeah, there was the episode where Lore and Hugh meet up.
Oh, yeah.
That's the building they use.
Oh, that's cool. Anyway, do you guys want to play some D&D?
Sure.
As long as we're here talking about Power Rangers. I finally got all this stuff built. I have an entire shelf of Power Ranger stuff that you can't see because of my mic, but I'm super excited about having all my Power Rangers stuff out. And that's not even all of it. I still have more shit. And I'm continuing collecting more because I am a man-child. I have my dragon dagger is I keep my dragon dagger by my bed because I'm that kind of crazy. And I'm not kidding. I used to actually keep my morpher next to my bed. And the last job that I was able to work, I had seriously bad panic attacks, which is one of the reasons I can't work anymore. Is I get super bad panic attacks constantly. And the only way I was able to get through a work day was I have a Dragon Ranger or a green Mighty Morphin Power Ranger power coin. It's in the morpher up there right now. But I would keep that in my pocket and I would rub it when I would start having panic attacks. So that's the kind of crazy I am. Anyway, I think it's time for us to return to the legend of the 3 kingdoms. The party is recovering from their recent loss, deciding the best way to save their friend is to save the rest of Gugukrusha from the evils of the Dark Lord. They have set out to the west to try and return to Ilmorn, where Vala had spent so much time. They know more of the things are there, in addition to possibly other artifacts of power or persons of power that may weaken the Dark Lord with their removal. Over the next few days, they traveled until they reached the mighty Cruciatalia River, massive in size. The area that they have decided to cross, it is a mere few hundred feet wide. That does not mean it will not be treacherous. And that is where we pick up. I just realized I don't have a river soundtrack. Let's try this. I don't think it's going to be perfect, but it'll sound better than this. There we go. All right, so it's been a few days. This is since a little louder than I was expecting, but I like the ambience. It's been a little bit to the time, a few days since you guys have set out, but you have now come to the edge of the river Cruciatalia. The river itself, as you look it over, is relatively fast-moving. You can see there are a few rather large rocks that kind of jut out of the river itself. The depth of the river, you're not quite sure, but you know it is deep enough that a bad undertow could spell disaster. And the rocks that protrude out from it do have rapids pushing up against them as the water rushes past them.
From our vantage point, can we see across to the other side?
Well, that's a good question. Let's actually look at the river here. So this is what you guys see. And you can again, it's about probably 400 or 500 feet wide. So it is not massive. Like when the river widens out to a lake, that's when it starts getting miles across. This one, again, it's less than even a quarter mile, but it's still pretty big. It's one of the reasons why most in general people don't tend to cross the river anywhere other than the couple of bridges that exist. One literally right next to Middenwell. It actually, the river crosses. There's a little bit of kind of an anti area, and then you are in Middenwell. Middenwell is almost right on the river. And then way down in east of Ebenthorn is the other relatively large crossing there. Otherwise, people don't tend to cross the river. There's a lot of superstitions that there are evil things that live inside of it. To your knowledge, you have never met anyone that has ever actually experienced anything bad inside the river. But, you know, I'll leave that up to your own imagination.
I mean,
go ahead.
I can get a few of us across, but I don't know about the others. Well, I think that just leaves one.
I'm sure I can find. I'm sure I can find a way across on my own. I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Insight check. No, just kidding.
You guys go first. I'll definitely be right behind you.
Well,
Holiday Inn? Yeah.
If we're flying, I can just grab her.
Well, I mean, I have my own things. I'm just wondering if maybe I should go first. That way, you guys can all jump in and save me.
Question:
Or
has Vala fully recovered since the trying to clean us and almost dying incident.
Oh, that. Yes, I have 3 levels of exhaustion, I believe.
Well, you lose 1 level of exhaustion per day, and it's taken you, I think, about 4 days to get here.
Okay.
So at this point, you would be. I will say, because of just how exhausting that experience was, physically you are recovered, but let's say you're still tender, I guess. So mechanically, you've recovered, but I would say you are, from an emotional standpoint, you're still a little bit hesitant. You would not want to go through an experience like that again today. Let's just say.
Got it.
But as far as exhaustion levels and that, they are all gone.
Okay.
So I can have 3 of us fly, and if you can do the same to yourself, then you should be able to get across without even touching the water.
I mean, but I can become a giant octopus.
You know, I distinctly remember a play of an easily solvable solution in a goldfish. I'm blanking.
As I reach for my... You're right. I need to have the correct dice for this to work.
Eldritch Horror, what? Ooh, pretty.
It's these special dice I have that have goldfish in them for no particular reason.
That's cool.
So, Vala will... What's the range on fly?
Well, I mean, I have to touch someone to cast it, but are you talking about how far you can go?
Oh, no. Okay, it's touch then. Okay.
Yeah. Vala just
Alright,
doesn't
guy.
like being touched.
Right. Okay, guys. Wish me luck. And Vala will cast Polymorph on herself, turning herself into a giant eagle.
Okay. So as you guys watch, Vala kind of focuses, and you see her start kind of humming this tune. And as the tune starts getting a little bit faster, you watch as feather patterns start to appear on her skin, and her nose starts to elongate, her lips start to elongate and form together into a hard beak. You watch as her arms start to flatten and feather themselves, and very soon you see a large, giant eagle next to you.
I'll kind of wait for a moment and stick out or I'll kind of wait for a moment. I'll kind of lower myself down, see if anybody wants to climb on.
I mean, just on the safe side, I'll cast Fly on the last of us, even if someone falls off, because of Vala being Vala.
Look, we know there's 2 ways this is going to play out. Either I'm going to go over, get knocked out of the sky and fall in, or if you guys go first, that will have alerted whatever's in the water to our presence, and then when I fly over, I will get grabbed.
If there's anything we've learned, Henri's the one who always gets knocked out of the sky,
Yeah.
okay?
I'm starting to get a little bit insulted here. It's like, oh, the DM is so predictable. You just gotta snatch us out of the sky. I mean, give me some credit here.
Argenta, I mean, you're the one who knows animals more, and I don't know how that spell works, so keep an eye on her, and then I'll just take off. I'll go up like 60 feet and then just start coasting over.
Okay.
So Fly is currently on Lillian, Argenta, and myself.
I'll climb on Vala's back. Just be like,
I will
mush.
say, as a giant eagle, carrying more than one medium-sized creature would be rough.
Yeah.
Theoretically possible, but not something fun, let's say.
Yeah. I'll just pick up one. I'll just
Okay.
have Argenta on my back, and I'll get like 80 feet up.
Just a little bit further.
Just a little bit. And then start soaring over. And kind of keeping my eye out on the water to see if I see anything. If if I see any shapes
Okay.
or dark colorations.
Lillian, you can fly. You can fly. You can fly. You can fly. You can fly.
Right. No. I can't follow after Valorant.
Okay. Are you choosing a similar large height above the water surface?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, we're not getting near that. DM described it as murky. Screw that shit. Cool. No, that's perfectly fine.
Henri has a fear of altitudes above 60 feet from just previous encounters.
So, the giant condor comes from above. That would have been really cool to do.
All of a sudden, Twisted Sister starts playing I Want to Rock. And then out of nowhere.
And then for some odd reason, what's his name now? Brian Blessed just comes out going, I shall smite thee! I love Brian Blessed. No, as you guys are going, as you guys kind of fly out over the water initially, as soon as your feet leave the ground, you feel this kind of uneasiness. Almost kind of this feeling of dread kind of washes over you as you fly. As you get further away from the water, it somewhat satiates to a point. But the further away from the land you get, the more isolated and alone and vulnerable you feel in the sky. You notice the constant cloud cover that is always there, which is kind of what constant mema means. Seems to be more oppressive than normal, and you start noticing the clouds here seem to be much lower than they should be. And after about 30-ish feet, you guys realize the clouds are here for some odd reason. Only, 60 to 80 feet above the water, you're seeing fog. Which is weird. Generally, fog is heavier than air. It sits low, and this fog is sitting in the sky around you, and it's starting to get thicker. It's starting to obscure your vision. After a few seconds, you can no longer see the other side of the river, despite it, again, being only a few hundred feet away. And then, as you are dealing with all of this, I need a strength saving throw from Henri.
This is gonna go well. Can I use Flash of Genius? Oh wait, wrong week.
Close, but no.
You guys want the good news or the bad news?
Use a nat 20. You're safe.
The good news is the number isn't on my dice because it's a 0. It's a nat 1 with a -1.
That's impressive. So as you guys are going, you can hear the water kind of churning below you, the of the river just flowing and ebbing, and suddenly you hear the water kind of pick up. The water starts rushing faster. You can almost hear kind of a moan coming out of it. And while you can't see the far shore anymore, you can see the rest of your party. And you suddenly watch as something shoots up faster than you think anything should be able to move, and wraps itself around Henri, and he immediately drops. You hear a splash, and then you don't see him anymore. I'd like everyone to go ahead and roll initiative for me.
Oh.
At least the one who can breathe underwater got pulled underwater.
I
Just saying.
did find it interesting that the one with water breathing was the lowest. So I liked that. Let's start with Vala. What you got for me?
Oh, these goldfish dice have smiled upon me. 23.
23. Cool. Henri?
Plus 3, 8.
8. Argenta?
14.
Not bad. And Lillian?
12.
12. Cool. All right. So, Henri, you are... you suddenly, as you are flying... And let's go ahead and get some battle music going here. All right. So, you feel... you feel this kind of dampness around you that feels almost familiar for a moment from your time in the elemental plane of water. You're used to water kind of reforming and things like that. But then suddenly it grips around you and it burns. And it squeezes you, and then suddenly you are falling. Falling faster than you have ever fallen before, and you hit the water like a brick wall. And then you are underneath it. The water is so dark and murky that you can't see more than about 5 feet in front of you.
Does this include with my devil sight?
With devil sight, because that is a form of dark vision, and the water is actually murky, it actually prevents your devil sight from working. Because it's not like there's a lack of light, there's actual particle matter in the way. Good question, though. You take 22 points of acid damage. I will need I'm actually going to technically need 2 different concentration checks, because one of them is from the 22 points of acid damage, and the other one is from falling 60 feet.
Okay, for the 22 acid damage, I rolled... Where's my con save? 15. I think I'm fine.
Yeah, it's DC 10. Or technically, that would be DC 11. However, the falling damage is 26 points of bludgeoning damage. So the DC for that would be 13.
That one's higher than 20.
That one's higher than 20. Cool. All right. So, when as you're kind of getting your bearings, you suddenly notice that the particles in the water around you are moving, but are not moving with the flow of the river. There's some other force that is kind of manipulating them, and suddenly you see a strange kind of beak-like mouth appear with teeth in it, as well as it comes forward and tries to bite you. I've got let's see, 26 is the roll versus your armor class.
Yeah.
All right, so you will take 30 points of piercing damage and another save.
A 15. I rolled a 14. Sorry, guys.
So, yeah. Lillian is really the only one affected. I mean, Vala, you suddenly feel Argenta get heavier on you by a bit. But you're able, you kind of teeter for a little bit, but you're fine. Lillian, unfortunately, you start dropping, and we'll deal with that in a second. As that's happening, you also see these strange claw-like structures come out and start slashing at you as well. I will say they don't have advantage this time, so that's a 20.
At me?
Yes.
Yeah, that hits. I am really missing the shield spell that I had last week. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
then does a nat 1 hit you?
Thankfully, no.
Okay, so one of the claws comes in and slashes against your chest, doing 18 points of slashing damage. The other one, now that you've finally gotten your bearings, you instinctively unleash your water whip and just kind of bat it away with it as you realize there is a massive creature in the water with you. And with that, we actually go into an initiative. So, first things first, Liliane, when you hit the water, because of the distance you fall, actually, roll me strength athletics or dex acrobatics, whichever you prefer.
I will do athletics.
Okay.
Okay. 19.
19. Okay. As you are falling, you realize you are about to impact water, which at the speed you're falling is going to feel a lot like hitting rocks. So you instantly kind of reorient yourself, kind of go into pencil dive mode, and hit the water with as small a footprint as you possibly can, reducing the amount of fall damage you take. Down to 5. You take 5 points of bludgeoning damage as the impact still hurts from falling so high, but it's not nearly as bad as it could have been. On the map here, why don't you guys go ahead and bring your tokens out, and then I will place, after you put them out, I will show you where certain people fell. So real quick, who is that?
Which one?
That one. Yep.
That one's Henri. I had to put the aura because it's tiny.
Yep, makes sense. So, Henri, you fell right there, and you're about 20 feet under the water, under the surface. Liliane, where are you here? That one there? Okay. Liliane, you would have fallen roughly around there-ish. So you're somewhat near. Those rocks are large enough to kind of stand on if you don't want to be in the water. And then the rest of you guys, based on where those two were, I'll let you guys place it, but you're about 80 feet in the air currently. I'm going to try something really quick to see if I can't give you an eagle token that you can use.
Hold that thought.
Okay.
I don't know that I'm going to be an eagle for much longer.
Okay, then I won't do that. All right. So, that being said, Vala, you are up first.
Okay. So I saw, because I had my focus, I was trying to focus on the water. I kind of saw something reach up, grab him.
You saw the water itself form kind of a tendril that leapt up really, really fast, grabbed Henri and yanked him underwater.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be a bad idea, but I am going to drop polymorph, because that would be a free action, correct?
Yes, stopping concentration on a spell is a free action.
Okay, so I am going to drop polymorph, turn around to Argenta and say, I'm really sorry.
Okay.
And then I'm going to cast polymorph again and turn myself into a sperm whale.
Okay. Cool. You don't really have kind of maneuvering capabilities as a sperm whale, so you're going to hit the water pretty hard. taking 19 points of bludgeoning damage as you slam into the water. Do you want a whale, Mimi?
Yes, please.
Let's see if I can find one for you.
So,
What's a sperm whale look like? I mean, that's kind of sperm whale-ish.
minus.
What size creature is a sperm whale? Is it large or gigantic?
Gargantuan.
Gargantuan. So that's large. That's huge. That's gargantuan. So there you are. Your whale ness. Can you?
And I'm hoping I absorbed most of the damage for Argenta.
Funny you should say that. Hold, please.
Holding.
In player's journal, Vavala can be controlled by Vavala. Save. Close. We're gonna get rid of that. All right. If you go, all right. Try this for me. I just put a whale out there. Try moving it.
I cannot seem to touch it.
Okay, cool. Go into your journal. You should see a thing that says whale.
I do. Try dragging that over.
Try dragging that over. Now you should be
Huzzah.
able to move it.
Yep.
So, go ahead and place yourself. Argenta, make me a dex save.
All right.
I will say this has to be a disadvantage, unfortunately, because you were not expecting your eagle to turn into a beluga.
I also have danger sense, so it's a straight roll.
Oh, go! Well, this isn't to save from the damage. This is actually to see if you can grip the whale. So danger sense wouldn't work.
Grip the whale.
They were pretty close anyway. 13.
13. Not quite enough to do that. So you're still going to take some damage. The hitting the whale instead of the water is nice. The blubber cushions the blow, but that's hilarious. Vala took 8d6 damage, which after rolling turned into a 19. Argenta only took 4d6 damage, which after rolling turned into a 19. So you took 19 points of bludgeoning damage as well.
All right.
But that was only 4d6 damage, so
Yeah.
I mean, take that to heart. So that was your action.
That was my action.
Cost you no movement because falling doesn't cost movement, so you still have whatever swim speed you would have, Shamu.
I it would have been poetic justice for me to turn into an orca.
It would have. Then I could have called you Free Willy.
Leave Vala.
Rolling on the river Jordan.
I have a swim speed of 60 feet.
Damn.
Right. I also have echolocation.
Ooh.
So
that is a big deal.
Yeah, so I have blind sight at to 120 feet.
Okay. I will say there's actual particulate matter in the water that is affecting your echolocation. So your normal 120-foot blind sight is only about 30-foot blind sight.
Okay.
And in particular, you'll notice starting around. Really, that's not what I wanted. Let's try this again. I'm a super awesome GM, guys. I want to let you all know that. Where did my paintbrush go? There we go. Freehand. There we go. All right. Starting around here. this area under the water seems to have the most, roughly, the most particulate matter in it.
Okay.
And you personally would be able to see. Where's my lair? This is not that hard. Dear Lord. I know this system really well, I promise. You would be able to see this strange monstrosity of a creature.
Cool beans. I am then going to turn and swim into its face.
Okay.
Because I am not that bright.
So as you go in, you start, as you get closer, your echolocation starts revealing more details. This thing is massive. In fact, what you see here is simply the center of mass. You can see tentacles of various girth going out from it beyond your sight, going deep into the water below, going out. Like, this creature seems to be a part of this lake.
Okay.
I wonder how this would work with echolocation. That is all you currently see right now.
Okay.
Is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's the end of my turn. I don't know if Argenta hung on to me or not. I don't know if she rode the whale.
I'll say, due to taking the same amount of damage for half the number of dice, she would have been kind of stunned enough that when you swam away, she wouldn't have been holding on, unfortunately.
You just hear a whale very sorrowfully. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. It's the creature's turn. Noticing how much you miss your friend, and probably failing when it does this, Argenta, I need a strength save. And it'll be disadvantage because you are technically underwater.
Yeah.
Strength save, right?
Yep.
20.
20 is more than enough. You suddenly feel the water around you start to kind of harden and shape itself. And you notice it's starting to kind of wrap around you, and you instantly kind of fight your way out of this current of water as it starts turning acidic. You do notice your armor gets slightly singed as the acid kind of rubs off a little of the finish on it, but beyond that, you get away, only taking 11 points of acid damage as this tentacle of water kind of draws itself back in. Since there's a giant whale in its face, we're going to start with... does a 26 hit your whalish armor class?
Yes.
Okay, you take 30 points of piercing damage.
Ooh.
As this creature kind of contorts itself, and again, that strange kind of beaky maw type thing comes and just clamps down, takes a chunk of flesh away with it. And then as it does that, it rolls a 2. Does an 11 hit your armor class?
Thankfully not. I need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It'll be DC 15.
Oh god, why did that go so far away? Okay. I got a 19.
19, not bad. A claw comes around and kind of slashes at you, and you kind of contort yourself away from it. Another claw comes to slash at you, and gets a 15 versus your armor class.
My armor class is 13.
Okay, so you take 18 points of slashing damage and another concentration check. This time only DC to 10 though. And you shoop. So we can remove this, and you can put your normal token anywhere in the space that the whale currently occupies.
I'm
Delete
going
that
to.
token.
Yeah, I'm going to say a bubble of motherfucker.
And you are effectively blind beyond about 5 foot ish. Because
Awesome.
again, there's stuff in the water here.
All right. Well. Awesome. Okay.
All right. Oh, we'll deal with that later then, because I forgot about that. So we don't need that. That is the end of. And as it's there, you watch it start kind of writhing, and you watch as the water itself starts to kind of get thicker. For some bizarre reason, you're not quite sure. And the water is currently difficult terrain for everyone. And that is the end of its turn. Argenta, what would you like to do?
So I see the sort of wake that the whale made, right? And it's
Yeah, you definitely saw the direction it went.
okay. So what Argenta's gonna do is that bonus action ethereal step. So she's traveling through the ethereal plane for this
Cool.
turn. So
Would
5,
effectively mean
10,
no difficult terrain.
15, 20.
And when
I
you
see.
get within about 5 feet of it, you see this strange monstrosity of a creature.
Okay, and just sort of, she's basically going to look around at this point. So she sees Vala 25, but Vala's not grappled or anything. She just shrunk back down.
No, she's very Vala. Her hair looks really great in the water. Like it's all like going total aerial.
30. And is Henri grappled or was he just pulled in?
When you were just for reference,
Yeah.
when you were there, you could see both of them. Not super
Okay.
clearly, but you could see both of them. So you don't need to spend extra speed to be able to see them.
Okay.
That being said, neither of them are grappled. Henri looks a bit rough because of the just volume of damage he's taken. I don't know how bad off Vala is, because most of her damage, I believe almost all of her damage was done to her sperm whale. So
Yes, the sperm whale ate up 79 points of damage, I think.
Okay, that's good. So you're not grappled. The ethereal step did take up my bonus action, so no raging this turn.
I like that ethereal step. That's a cool thing. So big old thing in front of you. Two buddies near you. What you wanted to do?
Well, seeing how bad off he is, she's gonna go here, and then I'll hold a cure wounds until the end of my turn, because then I go back to the plane I was in.
Okay, cool. Oh, you also did something else that you don't know about, but was really, really good. So cool for you. I love that. That
All right.
take inspiration for that, because I really like that. That was a really creative way to kind of get around difficult terrain and everything.
All right, I'll mark that, and then just end my turn, and then at the end of my turn it triggers, so Henri heals 11 hit points.
All right, so Henri, you suddenly feel shing. Now that does take your reaction to do it. Just so you're aware.
Yeah.
Cool. That's gonna bring us to this thing.
I don't get a turn?
Not quite yet. You rolled an 8, Henri.
Oh, I thought this thing already went. Okay, my bad.
No. It's not this creature that's going right now.
Oh,
Ooh.
So, Liliane, as you are kind of floating there, kind of dealing with everything. Come on, I want this one. There we go. All right. While you're kind of flowing there, you suddenly feel the water kind of turn into invisible tentacles and just start wrapping around you and trying to crush you. Does an 18 hit your armor class?
I believe, yeah.
Okay. So you take 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled and restrained as some invisible creature has kind of dragged itself around you, and it pulls you 30 feet down into the water itself. By the way, everyone that is currently underwater, if you don't have the ability to breathe water, you are currently suffocating or holding your breath. Rules for holding your breath in 5th edition are, I believe it's a minute plus your con modifier. So for each point in Constitution you have, it's another minute. Unless something causes all the air in your lungs to go away, and then you start dealing with suffocation rules. But for right now, you guys have 10 turns before you start suffocating. Plus con, so.
And you have 13 point damage.
13 points of bludgeoning damage if it matters to you. Cool. With that, Lane, it's actually your turn. Since you are grappled and restrained, if you want to use your action to break the grapple, you can. It's just a strength or dexterity check to break it. But that'll take your action. So, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I will try to break free.
Okay.
And for that you said dirty 20.
Yeah, so as this, whatever this invisible creature is, you kind of find one piece of it and start pulling. And as you pull, you feel it kind of disintegrate in your hand and the pressure goes away. But you feel movement nearby. You can't see anything, but something is still there. But you are no longer grappled or restrained.
I will try swimming to the surface, and if I can, I will try to move towards the rock.
You want to try and go for the rock. Cool. As you start swimming towards the surface, I need a Constitution saving throw.
17.
17. It's unfortunately not enough. As you're swimming, the water that you're in, whatever particulate matter is in it, starts kind of sticking to your skin. And at first, it's just kind of annoying, but it starts to burn, and then your muscles start to ache. And you take 14 poison damage, and you are poisoned for a minute. As you swim up, whatever creature was there, you feel it try constricting you again. This time with a nat 20 for a 25.
Yeah.
So you take 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and you're grappled and restrained again. But you are 15 feet higher than you were before. So you're only about 5 feet under the water, or no, 15 feet under the water right now.
Alright. So, I'm poisoned, grappled, and afraid.
Correct.
Alright.
Just to put as many different things as possible there for you.
Alright.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
that's a fun turn, right?
Yeah.
Henri, what would you like to do?
You know what? Let's try and do something creative. I will look this thing dead in its whatever and say, "You think you control this? This is my domain, bitch!" And I will cast Control Water
Cool.
and part the water in 100-foot cube around us all.
You gotta make me think. So when you say 100-foot cube around you, are you dead center in the cube? Where, like, I'm mostly thinking height at this particular point.
Well, if I can't, I don't know how far down I am, so yeah, I would position it on me because I can't see beyond like 10 feet. So I would just position it on me and just
makes
have it go out.
perfect sense. Okay. So effectively 50 foot down and 50 foot up. So as you're all kind of sitting there, suddenly the water parts and you all fall effectively 50 feet. As the water no longer exists where you are, as it just goes to the water just below this cube. I will say, when the water disappears around Lillian, you see this strange water creature wrapped around you that underwater is apparently invisible, but as soon as the water's gone, it's still there. So yeah, everyone, since you guys are getting a little more used to falling into water, because it's apparently a common thing, why doesn't everyone make me either strength athletics or dex acrobatics checks to see if you can kind of prevent yourself from hurting as you hit the ground, hit the water 50 feet below you. So we will start with, let's start with Vavala.
24.
24, that's very good. Argigenta?
That will be a 29.
It's very good as well. Liliane?
That would be 21.
21, that's very good as well. Henri, I'll give you advantage on this because you were expecting the water to go away.
Okay. So it was a turn from a 16 to a 22.
22. Okay, all of you make your saves. So you're only going to take half damage from this. So 14 halved is 7. You take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as you all fall to the lower level of water. And the water is not nearly as murky here for some bizarre reason, and the creature thing itself kind of descends with you. However, it does not actually have a save to make for that. So it just takes the damage. Cool. I do need a concentration check for control water from Henri.
Yeah, I rolled a 21.
Failure, unfortunately. Fall damage doubles the... No, you're fine. So yeah, you are now kind of waiting. You can see below you. It seems like the river itself still extends another, like, at least 30 or 40 feet. But all the way up to the surface, you guys now have this cube of no water. So all of you can breathe. It's nice.
Is it an action or bonus action in this game for potions?
To use on yourself is a bonus action.
All right. I've had a potion in my inventory for so long that I've never used, so I'm gonna use it. Hurrah.
What kind of potion is it?
Just a normal.
Oh, okay. Still nice.
For 9, right? Yeah.
Hey, that counteracts the fall damage, and gives you 2 hit points. Yeah, that's a net gain right there.
And then, am I prone at all?
No, you're swimming right now, so.
Okay. I don't want to move and get hit immediately, so I don't know the reach of this thing. It did grab me from the middle of the air, so I will swim to over here to where I can see everybody. And
Okay.
That's it.
Cool. Yeah, as you kind of maneuver your way around this thing, it doesn't seem to lash at you. That brings us back to Vala. So many things have happened recently.
It's just been crazy hectic. I was a whale. I was getting ready to shout out on this monster, and then all of a sudden, I'm falling through water. Then air.
Then water again.
Then water again.
I'm just trying to recreate that epic orca moment, okay?
I know, I get it. I was trying to find the name of that character so I could reference it as his trusty instant cube of air.
Yeah.
So we can now see this thing?
Yes, as long as you're above water, you can see it, and it's floating on the surface right now. So there's nothing stopping your village. Your vision. I mean, you're all basically treading water right now. You basically 50 feet away from Henri. There is a wall, a 50-foot high, or technically. You were 30 and then 50. An 80-foot high wall of water.
Okay. But when we were underwater, it was very difficult to see this thing.
Yes, there's something in the water. There's particulate matter there that makes the water very, very murky.
Okay.
There's nothing in the air.
Well, I'm going to help remedy this by casting Fairy Fire on it.
That's cool. What kind of save is that? I think it's Dex.
It is a dexterity saving throw.
Cool. It is large enough that you don't hit anybody else. What am I aiming for?
My saving throw is 18.
11. Little fires spark off over this thing, and you watch as the fire just keeps going. But after it gets out of the 20-foot cube, you watch it kind of trail these tentacles until it kind of disappears from your vision, and then anything outside of that kind of 20-foot cube just kind of evaporates.
Okay.
So.
And then from a bonus action, I am yeah, I'm going to play my. I'm gonna pull out my Flute of the Piercing Flame, and I'm going to play the Waltz of Engulfing Flames.
Okay.
The song embodies the escalating nature of fire, always looking for more objects to consume. I'm not gonna bother rolling my die because there's only one. Or wait, how many targets do I see?
Currently, you can see this creature, and then you can also see there's something constricting Liliane. So there's theoretically 2 Oh, I can make this visible now. Sorry. You guys can't see it because it's in the wrong layer, but now you can.
Okay.
So there's a large creature constricting Liliane. So there's 2 targets you can currently see.
I would like to mark both of them.
Okay.
Since I rolled a 6 on my inspiration die.
All right.
Until the start of my next turn, any ranged or melee weapon attacks or unarmed strikes will do 2d4 fire damage. in addition to the regular damage.
Cool. So you guys watch as she starts playing her flute dagger, and as she does, you start seeing like these little tendrils of flame start coming out. You see little embers kind of sparking from her, and you watch as they expand, and then they just kind of settle on top of the water thing on Liliane and this strange tentacled monstrosity. It's hard to see because the fairy fire is on the tentacled monstrosity, but you can see little bits of flame kind of dancing on the creature constricting Liliane. Anything else you want to do?
I'm just gonna slowly back paddle away, or I'm just I'm like kicking back off while floating backwards and playing this waltz.
All right. That ends your turn. The creature, it again forms kind of a tendril, or actually, you're gonna watch it just go and go beneath the surface. All three of you, if you have reactions, so everyone but Liliane, if you want to take an opportunity attack, you can, as it descends away from you, guys.
I'm gonna hang on to my reaction.
Okay.
I don't have my reaction because I used it.
Okay. Henri?
I will use Frostbite on it as it's retreating. So Constitution saving throw.
Cool. You're War Mage?
Yeah, I've had Warcaster since like the beginning.
Warcaster, there we go. Well, does a nat 1 do it for you? How about an 11?
Negative. So he will take, if he does take it anyway, 12 points of cold damage and has disadvantage on his next attack roll it makes.
Okay. So as you hit it with this frostbite ability, you watch as the kind of ice forms on its skin, and you watch it start to kind of blister from the frostbite. You notice the blistering is not nearly as severe as you're used to seeing it.
I ignore resistance to cold, by the way. I forgot.
Never mind then. It blisters exactly the way you remember it blistering.
And I didn't roll any ones. Okay. Sorry, I was just rereading it.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep forgetting there are things called feats that change the things. Cool. Anything else you want to... so that's the end of that. As it gets down, what's its speed? It's got a lot of speed. So as it goes down and kind of disappears in the water, you suddenly see the water kind of latch out and start dragging you again. It's going to move down and over here. I need another strength save from you, Henri.
Alrighty. Well, I did better than last time, but it's a 2 minus 1.
Hey, this is moving up. So you rolled a 1 last time, you rolled a 2 this time. You get hit, like 10 or 15 more times. You might start making your saves here.
Yeah.
You take 22 acid damage, and you are pulled right next to it another 30 feet down, and you are submerged again, which isn't as big a deal for you as it is for other people. And I need a concentration check, please.
Yeah, that was 16.
You're fine. It's going to try Namen on you again. That's a 2. It's 11 hit you.
Thankfully, no.
Cool. It's going to try clawing you a couple to the times. It's a little bit better. 18.
That hits.
Okay, and then the second one goes to a 19.
Yep, that hits.
So you take 18 points of slashing damage twice, and I need 2 concentration checks.
I won't have to make them because I'm gonna tomb it up after the first one, or else I'd be unconscious. So
cool.
Let me get my 140 temporary hit points. And then take away 36.
So theoretically, the temporary hit points still count as you taking damage, though. So they would still. Or is
It
there
says
something?
after you take the damage. You entomb yourself in ice, which melts away at the end of your next turn, gaining 140. A reaction when you take damage.
Okay. So you would still, because you took damage once, you're still going to make one concentration check, and because it's temporary hit points on you, technically you're still, or no, it's a different object. It's not your temporary hit points. It has.
It says, I'll just read the whole thing.
Go for
Once
it.
per short rest, as a reaction when you take damage, you can entomb yourself in ice, which melts away at the end of your next turn, gaining 140 temp hit HP. After you take the damage, you gain vulnerability to fire, your speed is reduced to 0, and you're incapacitated. So I'm incapacitated, so that ends the concentration regardless. But
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter. But so you take the 18 first, and then the second
then it
18
wouldn't
would go to
matter.
the.
because I'm unconscious after the first one.
Uh,
So I had 16 hit points.
all right. Read it one more time, just the part where it says when you take damage. Because I'm trying to see if it interrupts, if it's supposed to take that. I think it's supposed to take that damage for you.
As a reaction when you take damage, you entomb yourself in ice, gaining 140 temporary hit points.
Let's
And then
say,
it just goes on to the...
yeah, because it happens when you take the damage. They happen simultaneously, so the 36 would be taken off of your to the temp hit points.
All right,
So
control water's gone.
cool. So the water. I'm not going to try and figure out what, hundreds of gallons of water falling on you would hurt as. So we'll just say you're all underwater again and not worry about damage. The water is much clearer than it was before, though. There we go. Get rid of that. Except for around... Okay, so here... that whole area is obscured like the other thing before, but anyone outside of that, the water is water. You have your regular vision in water. Cool, that ends that. Argenta, what would you like to do?
Is the creature still glowing from the fairy fire?
It is still glowing. Even with the obscured stuff, you can see the creature.
Okay, so Argenta's basically going to use that as her target, and she's going to prime transition here, right next to it. I'm going to try and basically pull the unresicle out of its hands. Its tentacle.
It's not actually grasping him. It just clawed him. So
Okay.
he's not being grabbed right now. No.
I'll grab the unresicle then.
Cool.
Let's see. That would only bring me back. So I can't, and it takes a bonus action anyway, so yeah, that's fine. Do I have any spells that would help here? Screw it, I'll risk it. And just basically with Henri, I'm going to be trying to swim directly up.
Okay. Moving with a grappled target, Giga gives you you move basically at half speed, and being underwater, unless you have a swim speed, you would be moving at half speed. So I'm gonna say you would only be able to move like 5 to 10 feet, being both underwater and trying to move a grappled creature on your turn. So if that changes what you want to do. Argenta, are you?
I'm reading something.
That's perfectly fine. Just making sure
Yeah.
you heard what I said.
Yeah, I heard what you said.
Cool.
Did you take those optional rangers from things from Tasha's? Because if you did, then you would have a swimming speed at 6th level ranger.
No, I don't
Yeah.
have that.
All
I have the basic one. I'm just gonna keep doing it, and I'll dash, so I'll get 20 feet away because my speed is normally 40, so
Cool.
quarter did be 10.
So first things first, I need a con save.
That will be 24.
24. You are fine. Again, you notice kind of the particulate matter starting to kind of cling to you, and it starts to burn, but you just kind of tough it out.
Oh, I should probably point out, I don't think I had a reaction, so I am unconscious with a failed death save. Because I zapped him, right, and then he pulled me. I don't think I had a reaction to do my tomb, so I'm unconscious.
Oh yeah. Oh, so yeah, he would be unconscious.
Okay, so I'm holding an Henri's body
Yes.
currently.
Um,
Does it come with acid?
you take no damage from
Okay.
that. You made your saves. So, however, it is going to try to nom you as you go away.
Okay.
For a 26 versus your armor class.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay. That is 30 piercing damage as it kind of
All right.
bites at you and you swim off.
All right.
Because you said you traveled 20 feet?
Yep.
Okay.
That'll be my turn.
Cool. So you're basically 10 feet away from the edge of this kind of murky water. And because you are so close, the rest of the party can basically see you and the floating unconscious form of Henri. The creature that is gripping Lillian is going to just try and grip you a little bit more with an 11.
No.
Yep, just hugging you and cuddling, hugging and cuddling. Lillian, what would you like to do with your cuddle buddy?
I will try to break free again.
Okay. And as the water kind of covered you again, it disappeared again.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, effectively, anytime it's underwater, it is invisible.
It would give me the ability.
It's technically what you're doing is a skills check. So yeah, that would work. Yeah, it would count as an ability check.
Alright, so I am poisoned, so that would be an 11.
11. Not quite enough to get out of it. You try and get it, and you try and rip it off like you did before, and it just keeps kind of writhing around you to where you can't get a good grip on it.
And that would be my turn.
All right. Henri, I need a death save, unfortunately.
Alrighty. Oh, wow, that's a nat 20. That makes up for everything.
You are suddenly awake with 1 hit point, and that happens at the beginning of your turn. So, you have your full turn. Argenta, as you're kind of dragging his unconscious body, you suddenly start him kind of, and he coughs underwater, which is weird, but he can breathe water, so.
Why? Hold on, I gotta apply 0 damage because I'm like stuck on the scroll wheel and I'm seeing like numbers on the damage thing. Yeah, hate to do this, but I kind of have to in my situation.
Okay.
I am going to. It says one you can visualize. So I am going to visualize the other side of the river and try and dimension door myself and Argenta over there.
Okay. Dimension door, you can also just go, I want to go that many feet that way as well. So
Yeah, I don't know how far down I am, so I'm just trying to picture the shore.
you would have seen roughly how far down you were when you did
Okay.
that, and then you watched yourself go another 30 feet down. So you got a pretty good idea of where you are. You're
Okay,
about
I'll
80
just-
feet down.
I think I'd still have enough to get to the other side with me and Argenta.
It's how much? It's like 500 feet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have enough easily.
Okay, that's what I'll do.
Cool. Soup. You guys see the unconscious form of Henri kind of wake up, look around, just grips Argenta, and then you watch as this arcane door kind of shows up and they're both gone.
And then I will use my movement to get as far away from the god-awful shore as possible.
Okay, that's roughly 30 feet as you continue to run.
And that is my turn. I have a bonus action, but there's not much else I can do.
Oh, that's why. I'm on the wrong thing. Cool. So we will just remove you and you because you don't exist currently.
And just so that from my perspective, when I land on the shore,
Mhm.
is the water too dark to see the fuckery that's going on down there?
It's too far away at this point. You are at this point the river is roughly around like 400-ish feet wide, and they are 80 feet down, pretty darn close to the other shore. You guys only got, what was it, 5, 10? You guys only got about like 100 feet before he plummeted.
Okay, so they're like between 250 and 300 feet away, is what you're saying.
Yes, laterally they're about 300 feet away, and then vertically they are 80 feet down, or they're 50 feet down. Because they didn't get taken. So, if you want to figure the hypotenuse of that angle, you can, but it's 300 and then 50. Cool. That ends your turn. That was brilliant. That was a great thing. Vala, your buddies just ditched you. What do you wanted to do?
So another bubble escapes. That's just son of a. Vala rolls up her sleeves and just. I came here to cast polymorph and fireball, and I'm all out of polymorphs. So I'm casting the fireball in its general direction.
All right, I believe that's a dex save.
I believe you are correct.
Gets a 23 on its dex save.
That fails. In the alternate universe where my
That's not really. That's
where my spell save
impressive.
DC is above 18.
Okay. Still gonna take half damage though. So.
And I mean it's fire damage.
Yeah.
So 15 fire damage.
All right. As you sit there and you fire this bolt of fire, as it goes off, you see as it kind of singes the flesh. It basically evaporates water for a second. And you can see the creature itself. You can see the flesh singe slightly, but not as much as you think it should. How much damage was it again? Unless you ignore resistance as well.
I don't, but I did for it's been so long. I add 5 to it, so it would have been 35.
35
is the
okay.
total damage, and then half of that.
So this is 17. Cool.
You also had 2d4 from your thing?
No, it's the start of my turn, so nobody got to
Nobody
use
got that benefit,
bonus fire
unfortunately.
damage. That's okay.
It's cool, but no.
I'm going to start swimming towards Lillian.
Okay.
Lillian has taken some damage, if I'm not if I am correct.
Yeah. Not
Do
a
I-
ton, but
But I'm going to use my bonus action to expend two of my healing light die, and roll 6s. So Lillian gets 12 points of healing back.
she you see a couple bubbles kind of pop out as she's humming underwater, and as the bubbles pop next to you, you feel healing power.
And then I'm just going to make my way 15 feet. Because guess I'm moving at half speed, correct?
Yeah. Unless you have a swimming speed, you're half speed underwater.
Nope. That was my sperm whale.
Well, luckily enough for you, you're about to move a lot more, theoretically, because I need a strength save from you.
Do you really? You sure this is a performance check?
No.
So this is a straight roll. Ooh, that's a 12.
12. Cool. So you take 22 acid damage, and shoop, you are right next to your friend again. He
Awesome.
missed you.
I love that. Because I'm going to use my reaction. To cast Hellish Rebuke.
Cool. Is that a dex save again?
And I'm going to cast Hellish Rebuke at 3rd level.
Cool. That's a dex save, right?
As soon as I can find it. It is a dex save.
Cool. You got a level 11.
I'm sorry. That is 18 again. So, creature must take a dexterity saving throw or take 2d10 fire damage. When you cast this at 2nd level or higher, the damage increases 1d10 for each level above 1st. So that's 4d10 fire damage plus 5, I think.
Go for it.
21 points of damage.
21. Not bad. Not bad. It's damage, you know? So you see this bolt of electricity, because it's what kind of it's a
It's
lightning
fire.
damage, right? Oh, it's fire. Never mind. So you see this bolt of fire go out, and you see it engulf it, and again, it doesn't seem to quite do as much damage as you think, but this creature's getting pissed off that you keep hitting it. After taking the damage, it's gonna nom on you. Ooh, with a nat 20. So that's 50. I have to do. All right. 26 times 2 is 52 plus 4 is 56. Correct?
Right.
Thank you.
6 points of damage. Got it.
Plus 50. 56 points of piercing damage. And then it's going to try and claw you a couple times.
Oh,
So,
okay.
first one's a 16.
That misses.
Okay. Second one
Thank you, Celeste.
is 28.
That'll hit.
And that's 18. So this is slashing damage. Is Fairy Fire Kick a concentration?
It is.
Okay. So from the 56, you'd need to make a concentration check, and the DC would be 28. So theoretically, if you have a Constitution saving
No, I
throw modifier,
have a Constitution saving throw modifier of 3.
okay.
Can I charm my way out of this?
Unfortunately not.
Can I play the song?
So Fairy Fire goes away. And
That's
then
okay.
You just take the damage from the other Cricket Claw.
Oh, awesome.
So that's the end of its turn. Again, the area around it gets more and more cloudy. Argenta, you are on the shore.
I am.
See some dudes walking around looking for a pier. One of them keeps talking about a situation you're not aware of.
So on the what is it called? On the water, on the river, there are those rocks, right? That
Yes.
effectively act as dry land. How far away is the nearest one?
The nearest one to you would technically be this one up here. And let's just call it for easy math. Let's call it 200 feet. This one would also be roughly about to the 200 feet.
Okay, so there's none on this side of the river.
There are. I don't have them on the map. If you wanted to kind of leapfrog, let's say there's one every 50-ish feet.
Okay, so we're about 300 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll prime transition to it.
Okay.
I will walk up to like the edge of it, so like another 10 feet or so, looking at their size.
Mm-hmm.
Pull out Fury.
All right.
So here's the thing that Commander told me the past couple days.
All right.
Because I asked him about it because of something I did last level.
Cool.
I took the Gunner feat, which makes me
Okay.
proficient in firearms because
Very
she's been
cool.
studying it.
Cool.
So I would have been able to attune to his bullet bag, correct?
That is a fantastic question. I think it only requires someone that's proficient in firearms, so theoretically you could have.
Yeah. So I'm going to load a shocker shot.
Okay, very cool. I'm
And
glad
since-
someone's getting to use this. It was a cool item.
And since I'm at max range from where I last saw the creature,
Okay.
based on the hypotenuse, I'm going to take a shot at disadvantage into the water.
Go for it. Go for it. I'm totally up for this. In fact, this is a cool enough idea. Don't worry about disadvantage. Roll a straight
Okay.
roll. This
Well-
is massively cool.
Without disadvantage, that makes this shot a 22 to hit.
22. Well, you hit.
It has to make a strength save.
Okay. It gets a 10. It rolled a nat 1 on its save.
Well, it fails, so it's paralyzed.
Ooh! So you guys watch as well. How do you envision prime transition working?
Basically, I see her wrapping the cloak around herself, and then she disappears into like a singularity, and then reappears in another singularity.
Okay, so, Henri, you see all of this. Liliane, you kind of see this through a veil of water. You watch as Argenta comes forward and kind of wraps the cloak, and as she does, the cloak keeps wrapping and getting tighter and tighter and so on. Then, and you see this kind of explosion of energy. She appears on a rock in the center of this kind of raging river, mist kind of going up into her face. She reaches into her coat and brings out Fury. You watch as she reaches into the bag, chink, chink, loads in a shot, aims down, fires, and you see this bolt of light erupt from it, going through, smacking the creature itself. Don't forget to roll damage, by the way.
Yeah, it was 6 damage.
6 damage. Cool. And that's magical damage. And then with you being right next to it, not Liliane, Vala, you watch as this thing comes in, and you see this kind of thing sticking out of it that suddenly starts, and you see electricity just going all over this creature as it just sits there completely paralyzed. Any other badass things you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I get a second shot,
Yes.
and I'm going to fire at the one by Liliane. Same type of shot, so I'm using 2 charges in this.
Okay. Now, that one is invisible,
Okay.
so this will be made at disadvantage.
I'll use that inspiration you gave me.
Go for it.
That'll be a 20 to hit.
Oh, that definitely hits.
So another strength save.
This creature has a super high strength score. It actually has a decent strength. I'm surprised. Does a 16 beat the saving throw?
The DC is going to be... Yeah, the DC is 15.
15, okay. So it's not paralyzed, but it still takes damage.
9 damage.
9 damage. Hey, still damage. All right. Anything else you wanted to do?
Bonus action, and so I'm on this rock. I'm good.
Cool. The creature that's just been shot is going to is going to try and hug you a little bit more. That's a 14, Liliang.
No.
Snuggle, 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 snuggle. That ends its turn. Because you're already underwater, it doesn't feel the need to drag you anywhere. Though it is less than pleased it just got shot. And I will say, that'll probably be kind of surprising to you as you're sitting there and suddenly a bullet just barely misses you
Yeah.
as it goes through this thing. It's your turn. Do you have choice words for a Magenta? Right here! Same team! Or
I do. I don't see
okay.
I don't know how much work as a water, but I will try to use my ethereal that ability to move through the creature.
Sure. That would break the grapple. You're technically still underwater. I'll say because you're moving through the ethereal plane, you can move at normal speed, but you can pass through objects and the things like that. So, so it breaks the grapple. You're able to move away from it if you like.
Now, how would that work? If I wanted to get to the rock, would I just move through it, or?
You can if you want. I believe moving through objects counts as difficult to terrain. How much movement do you have currently? Is it 30 feet?
35.
35. Okay. Without dealing with difficult to terrain, I would say since you're 30 feet under water, if you can make a acrobatics or athletics check to pull yourself out, you can get on the rock. Just to make this easier. So, if not, you're in the water next to the rock. You're at the top of the water, just next to the rock.
And moving through the creature is difficult terrain.
We're just gonna say because it was grappling you, we're gonna use the ethereal plane as a way to just explain how you're not grappled. I'm not gonna deal with you trying to calculate how much of the creature you move through is difficult terrain. It's not worth it. So we'll just say you're not grappled, and if you make this check, you're on the rock. If you don't, you're in the water and then next to the rock. Athletics or acrobatics, whichever you choose.
And I'm still poisoned.
Unfortunately, yes.
And that one.
Well, you're in the water,
So
but you're at the top of the water. You know, you're floating. You've got the rock right next to you. Next turn, you can climb out, no problem whatsoever.
Man, I think you can dash if you need to.
Yeah, if you wanted to dash, you could get out of the water as well. Unless is your ethereal step an action or a bonus action?
it doesn't say.
It just says at the start of your turn.
Yeah.
It doesn't say action or bonus.
There's no action. So yeah, if you want to dash, you can.
Yeah, and I'll die onto
Okay.
the rock.
Go ahead and put yourself anywhere on the rock you want to be. Anything else you wanted to do with your turn?
Yeah, let's see, so, there doesn't that mean that I just, I got a roll.
Sorry, what did you ask?
I don't see anything about anything that
Thing is
I just
lag.
edit a roll.
My understanding is it should have a duration.
Yeah, your intelligence modifier.
Yeah, it's her intelligence modifier
okay.
in rounds.
Oh yeah, so
It lasts 2 hours.
Okay. Theoretically, since it's an ability you activated, if you wanted to end it early, does it say you have to spend an action or anything to end it early? So if it doesn't, we can just say you can end it early if you want.
No, it doesn't say anything about any actions.
Okay, so yeah, if you wanted to end it early, you could.
Yeah, I'll end it as soon as I'm on the wall.
Cool.
Today I will.
You had a bonus action left. Anything you wanted to do with it?
Let's see. Actually, I will try to. Well, no, I can't see it, can I? The creature.
It's about 80 feet down, but it's got lightning going all over it. So I'll say through the water, you can see roughly where it is.
I will. You people.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you kind of focus on it, and you get this picture of it in your mind, and you. Now I know this cookie creature. Cool. Henri, what do you wanted to do?
How far away did Argenta go?
I'm about 60 feet from you.
Okay, then that won't work. I have nothing I can do that has range, so I'm just going to, just as extra safety, the the closest bit of water, I'm going to freeze a 5-foot cube with shape water just for added security. That's all I can do.
You're like, no! Shh! Gotcha, cool. Is that everything for your turn?
Yeah, I don't got anything else.
Cool. Vala, there is a paralyzed creature right next to you.
There is.
Argenta, while this is going on, can you just look up and tell me how long the paralysis level lasts?
It will be. I keep having to open commander sheet.
That's
where I
fine.
have the item on mine.
Do that. I'm gonna do Vala's turn. Tell me after. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Vala.
All right, I'm using all of my remaining healing light die to heal myself.
Cool.
A total of 18 hit points.
All right.
Thus, almost doubling my hit points.
Fun.
And I'm going to move 15 feet away.
Okay.
And I'm going to cast guiding bolt.
I will remind you, with a paralyzed creature, any attack rolls that hit when a creature is within 5 feet of it count as critical hits. So if you have any melee spell attacks, just putting it out there.
I appreciate that. I think the only one I have is Flame Blade.
Okay, well,
which
takes your bonus action to cast, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, and I don't know that it does. I don't know, that would do. I got that confused with Green Flame Blade.
Well,
But anyways.
because that information's here, if you wanted to do that, it's entirely up to you.
I appreciate that. I'm
Go
gonna
for it.
stick with my original plan.
All right.
Because it's paralyzed, I don't get advantage on a
You do
spell
still
attack.
you do still get an advantage. Any attack rolls against it will have advantage as long as it's paralyzed. So
Okay. Well, that first one was a 2. Luckily, the second one was a 27 total.
27 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll the damage.
So a total of 23 damage.
And it's radiant, right?
Yes.
Cool. So as you sit there and you fire this bolt, the whole creature itself starts glowing, and you briefly see just how massive this creature is as the river itself starts to glow. You see tendrils of this creature going beneath the river, going out as far as your vision carries in both directions. Like, this creature literally is a massive part of the river, to the point where the water is almost secondary to this creature. Anything else you want to do?
In my best Gandalf, fly, you fools.
Cool.
And I will just start sinking down in the water.
The creature flips you off.
Huzzah.
So it continue. Basically, it has to make it save. It makes it save at the end of each of its turns.
Cool. What's the
Yeah.
save again?
DC 15 strength.
Strength. Cool. All right. Well, it got a 20. So
Okay.
it is no longer poisoned, but it's also no longer its to turn. Or not poisoned, paralyzed. Argenta, we are back to you.
With the gunner feat, I ignore the loading property, so I'm gonna load another shocker shot in,
Go for it.
and so that's free because I ignore loading.
Theoretically, the aspect of loading, I have to look at the property. It basically the loading property effectively required you to have a free hand and limited the number of shots you could make with it, I believe.
Yeah.
It still takes the way that the bullet bag works is you still basically, when you pull bullets out of it to put into the gun, you choose what kind of bullets you're putting into the gun when you load it.
Gotcha.
So loading it still requires normally I believe loading the gun would require an action if you're not a gunslinger. So we'll say whatever the gun itself, I believe, has 6 shots. So whatever 6 shots you put in when you started are what's in it,
Okay.
and you can use those 6 shots until they're gone.
Okay,
But
let's
then you'll
just-
have to use an action to load it.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna shoot the big one again.
Okay.
It's glowing, so the roll is even. But before I shoot it, I just kind of whisper a prayer to the earth underneath my breath, and I'm going to make it. I'm going to cast magic weapon onto the gun
Very
to
cool.
make it +1.
Okay. And is this a special shot in any way?
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be basically because I'm in panic mode. They're going to be all shockers because I want to get them out of there.
It's perfectly fine. There
20
are a limited number of shockers you can load.
Yeah, this would be
Okay.
all 4 charges. Would be
Okay,
out of the
just
bullseye.
making sure. Cool. Go for it.
26 to hit.
Definitely hits. Roll the damage for me.
6. Wait, no, wrong die. It's a D10, not a D8. 13 damage, and it has to make another strength save.
Okay. Well, that's a 9.
It's paralyzed again.
paralyzed again.
And then I'll shoot at the other one with the final shopper shot.
Okay.
18 to hit.
I believe 18 hits it. Yes, it does.
Another strength save, and it'll take 9 damage.
9 damage. And then a strength save for this one is a 15.
Okay, so it resists the paralyze again.
All right, so you watch just, again, she kind of fans the hammer, and she goes, hits another one. You see the creature again. And then she goes and she shoots at the where she believes the water weird is, because again it's invisible, and the creature takes more damage. Anything else you wanted to do?
Nope. I'm gonna stand there.
Cool. Yeah. 5. What does it got for speed? Okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's gonna go over, and suddenly, Vala, you feel something starting to try to constrict you.
Got it.
How's a 9 versus your armor class? Does this sound?
Oddly enough, that doesn't work.
Okay, so you feel this thing start kind of wrapping around you. It's completely invisible, but you just kind of wriggle out of it and rip it off, and yeah, that's the end of its turn.
I use my expertise of having to avoid grabby hands at the club.
Liliane, what do you want to do?
Alright, so I will pull my Grapple out. Can I see where it was?
It's still, so we'll say yeah.
Alright. So I will pull my Grapple out. And I will activate my radiant light.
Okay. So as you kind of cut yourself a little bit as you load the crossbow bolt in, it starts to glow with a light.
And I will shoot at the creature that was taking me.
You actually can't see the creature, and it moved. So you can see the big tentacle thing because it has lightning all over it. But the other creature just moved, and it's invisible. So.
Oh, that whatever was.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, yeah, that the thing that was hugging you is invisible, and you have no idea where it went.
Alright.
You might see Vala kind of struggling against something, but you can't physically see anywhere where the creature is.
Alright.
But
So let's see.
if you wanted to take a shot at the creature, you can do that. I believe it'd be long range, but because it's paralyzed, the advantage and disadvantage could cancel out. So.
Alright. Alright. I'll take a shot at the that I can say. So. That will be a 14 to hit.
Unfortunately, that's not quite high enough to hit the creature. So as you sit there and fire, the bolt, as it hits the water, kind of swerves a little bit due to river currents, and it just misses it.
Alright. So that will be my turn.
All right. Henri, would you like to
I'm-
set up a bungalow?
A bungalow with the dodge action because it's the only thing I can do. I mean, I can go back in, but
Well, how about Vala? What does Vala want to do?
That bungalow sounds like an awesome idea. Vala is gonna cast Guiding Bolt at 2nd level.
Go for it. Advantage.
Damn. Alright, 29 to hit?
Definitely hits. Go and roll to the damage.
20.
20. It is looking rough, but it's still alive and ticking. Anything else you want to do with your turn?
I don't think there's anything else I can do. Yeah, I will assume dodge.
Okay.
From my minutes of reading How to Monk 101.
Here you go. All right.
Actually, I'm underwater, so it's more like
We're gonna try. The creature is gonna
Save.
try for its save. Got a 7. So
Total?
Total is a 7.
Okay, it's still paralyzed.
So it's still paralyzed. We go to Argenta.
So I thought loading with like when you get crossbow expert, you can just fire every round because you ignore
So,
the loading property.
Firearms have another property called the reload property.
Okay.
And so loading, you don't have to worry about. Reloading, you do, because I'm going to actually open up D&D Beyond real quick here and go to specifically the gunslinger, if it's in here. There we go. So I think it talks about proficiency in firearms. The reload. The weapon can be fired a number of times equal to its reload score before you must spend 1 attack or 1 action to reload. You must have 1 free hand to reload a firearm. So reload is a different property from loading. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The one I posted was from the DMG, by the way.
Gotcha. So what I will do is, which one did she guiding bolt?
The big thing,
Big
I'm
one.
assuming.
Okay, so I'll spend an attack to because it's
Before
low.
that happens,
Go for it.
from the Alex G, Henri, you get a Cure Wounds. So go and hold, I believe it's 1d8 plus 2.
Woohoo!
higher than 1. You maybe can soak something.
I am now at 7 hit points.
All right. Thank you, Alex. We always appreciate things like that.
So I'll spend an attack to reload,
Okay.
and then my second attack will go at the big glowing thing I can see now.
Does Fury have 4 barrels or 6?
4. I looked at it.
4. Okay, cool. Then, yeah, go ahead and take your shot.
That'll be a 20 to hit. For 10 points of piercing.
Yeah, definitely. And is that also adding the +1 from your magic weapon?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, still looking rough, but it's still technically alive. Anything else you wanted to do with your turn?
Nope, that's it.
All right, another cuddle check. Slightly better. It's a 14 versus your armor class of Avala.
No, I avoided a lot of
cuddle.
grabby hands.
Liliane, what you want to do?
I can try to attack a big giant again.
Go for it.
That would be 23.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Alright, so that by because one, that would be 2 plus that is 10.
Hunter's Mark and Wright's damage and then regular damage.
Yeah.
Just pick dice. Just pick random dice.
If I did my math right, 15 damage, 8 of it would be radiant,
Okay.
and then I'm assuming Hunter Mark doesn't do anything special.
Just extra damage.
Yeah. Yeah, he is radiant if that matters.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, you shoot it. You can see it's now bleeding pretty heavily. In addition to the kind of weird stuff that's in the water, you can see this kind of black blood leaking into the water around it as well. Does that end your turn?
Well, remind me, I can make an attack, but because Grapple needs to be reloaded.
Yeah. So the loading feature of the crossbow means it can only be fired once, no matter how many attacks, unless you have crossbow expertise. So.
Alright, yeah, then that makes sense.
Cool. Henri, you feel divine inspiration give you and close some of your wounds. Want to set up a tiki bar?
Yeah, I'll start charging for half price apps right now.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else you want to do?
No, I'm effectively out of this fight, so.
Okay. Vala. Creature's looking rough. Creature's looking really, really rough. What do you want it to do?
Oh god. Yeah, I'll use my bonus action to cast Hex on it,
Okay.
and then I will use a second level spell slot to cast Guiding Bolt once more.
You can't cast a leveled spell
That's
if you use
right.
a bonus action to cast
I
a spell.
Can't. So
It is paralyzed. You could cantrip it.
Yeah, paralysis means auto-fail
Oh,
dex and strength saves. What do you want to do, Vala? It's starting to twitch. You can see its form starting to get rid of this paralysis. Vala can feel kind of the water crushing her, being this far under the surface. You've seen exactly how large this creature is. You know that it will be able to envelop you very soon. What do you want it to do?
Vala is going to go out the way she as at pure Vala.
Okay.
I've cast Hex,
Okay.
and then I'm going to use Vicious Mockery
Okay.
and just say, how many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? 10 tickles.
What kind of save
Tentacle,
is
tentacle,
that?
tentacle, tentacle, tentacle.
What kind of save is
For the monster or for everyone else?
just
it
for
is-
the monster right now?
It is a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom. Okay. Let's see what happens here. Well, it's a 19 to its wisdom save.
It needed an 18.
Sorry.
But how much psychic damage do the rest of us take?
All of it. You take all this as a psychic damage. Anything else you wanted to do with your turn?
No, because I know that thing's out there, and I know if I move, it's gonna just attack me.
All right.
So.
Creature tries to break out of the.
Paralysis.
He rolls a 10.
Hey.
Argenta, what you wanted to do?
First shot. That fell off the 24 to hit.
24 definitely hits. Go and roll the damage.
I lost that other d10 somewhere to the. Oh no, it's in my hand. 12.
All right. It's looking really, really rough. The water's getting cloudier because of all the blood in it, but it's still there.
Second shot is a 25.
Definitely hits. Roll the damage.
For a d10 maker. There it is. 9.
Claim your kill. Describe for me how you end this creature.
Basically, right next to the shocker, I'm just gonna put 2 shots, one right below the next.
Okay. So you can feel kind of the spirit of the commander kind of filling you with rage. The name Fury seems very apt for this weapon. And as you sit there pouring all your hatred and fury into it, fires down once into the creature. You watch the creature kind of struggle, but you can see the hole that you just made. You close one eye, look down, another shot, it goes directly in, comes out the other side. You watch as the creature kind of twitches and slowly floats down into the bottom of the river. Vala, you feel the presence near you disappear. And with that, helps if I'm on the right screen. The creature dies. To kind of sum things up quickly, you guys are able to get to the other side of the river without too much more difficulty, since there's nothing in the river trying to stop you anymore.
I will simply use the other effect of my prime transition and go right back next to Henri.
It's not a bad idea. As you all lay on the river, or on the bank on the other side of the river, you see the river itself has become very, very still. The fast-moving water seems to be almost unmoving now. You're not quite sure what the repercussions of this will be, but obviously something rather massive have changed. But unfortunately, that is where we are going to end it for tonight. As always, if you enjoyed this, I do upload all these to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/JodyTrainerJody. Check it out. I upload them on Sundays. So if you want to see the rest of this battle, or any of the rest of this series, we have the entire thing there. Otherwise, again, that is all for me today, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.